Hello. In this screencast, we're going to talk about either this or either that. Either is a data type that basically allows you to make safe functions. So you can, run some function, and if it returns an error, you can use an either function to return either a left or a right. And through your pipeline, right will continue down the pipeline, left will exit out of the pipeline. So I'm going to just show a few examples of that. We're going to use Deno and an either library and some Lambda. So basically, with an either, you can create a functional pipeline, and we'll start that with here with an of. So we're going to initialize the value, either dot of, and we'll just put a value 1 in. And then we can fold that out of the container. So either is a data type that contains a value, and you can manipulate it. So the first thing we'll do is just kind of fold that out. And it's either going to return a left, which this function handles the left side. And we'll just do console log left, and then the value. And the second function is the right. So we will console log that with the right and return the value. And if we run that, we should get 1, because the default of the of is a right instance. So it'll always return the right. Now, if we want to, let's say, add to this value, we can map over it. So let's pull in add, and go ahead and pull in multiply from Lambda, and then we'll just map. And what map does is it allows you to run a function inside the container. So we can run the add function and give it a 1, and that'll just add 1 to whatever the value is. So if we run that, let's see, destructuring initial first. Oh, that should do it. So if we run that, then we get 2, right? And if we map over another function, let's say multiply by 2, and we run that, we get a right of 4. So that's basically how either works. As any kind of functional type, you can create a pipeline we call map or chain, and then you can fold at the end, and it's going to return the value that's inside that container. So what if this value is null, right? So or if it's not a number. So the add and the multiply functions is kind of expecting it to be a number. So if it's not a number, that's not good. So we need to do a check to make it safe, right? So we can create a function down here called isNumber. It takes a value. And then basically it's just going to say if is number, then we want to return the value, the right of the value, right? So we want to return a new either with the value. And then if it is not a number, then we want to return left, and we'll just say not a number. But we could kind of put any kind of value in here. And what's going to happen is when this runs, we're going to chain. And the reason we're going to use chain is this function is going to return another either. And that either can be either a right or a left. So it's kind of like a flat map. So what we're going to do when we chain is call isNumber, and then it's going to return a new either that can either proceed down the pipeline, or it will kind of pass the maps and go to this fold left function. So let's run that, and if everything works great, then we should get 4 again. Let's see, right's not defined. Cool. So let's bring in right and left from either. Okay. And we get 4. So what happened is we checked if the value in the container is a number. And if so, then we'll run the maps. And let's make it not so. So let's make it a null, right? And when we run that, we get left is not a number. So what happens is this chain returns a left, and the either says, okay, I'm not doing a map, not doing a map. And then when we come to fold, I'm going to run the left function in the fold. And that's basically how an either works. Now, with either, you can get a couple of common methods to make things just a little bit easier. One is called from nullable. And the other is called try catch. So with from nullable, I'm just going to clear out all this. Okay. With from nullable, it basically takes a value and either returns a left or a right. If the value is null, it returns a left. If the value is not null, it returns a right. So we can test that here with either and put a null in, and then we can chain from nullable, and we can just do a fold and is null, and then just do is not null, right? And if we run that, we get is null. But if I put a value in here, we get is not null. If I put undefined, we get is null. So from nullable can basically allow you to check, a value coming from somewhere maybe you can't control, and make sure that it's not null before you get into your business logic. Let's look at try catch. Try catch takes a function, and then it's going to run that function, and if that function throws an error, then it's going to run return a left. If the function doesn't throw an error, it will return the result of that function as a right. So we can test that out by just doing try catch and just putting a function in here. And we'll just go ahead and throw a new error. Catch me if you can. So this function is going to throw an error. So, but the either is going to catch that error, and then it's going to return either a left or a right. So it'll kind of make this function safe. So we can fold, and you got me. So the left means that it found an error and it caught it and it returned it as a left. And then the right, let's just do no error, right? So if we run that, we should get, you got me. Well, we had an error. And we can get access to that error, right? So when it does throw the error, we can get access to it and write it out. So that's it. That's the basics of the either. You have kind of map and chain, which you can create your pipeline, and then you have fold. You also have an extract function, which will return the value as a result when you call an either pipeline. So those are the basic methods. In the description, I'll attach the blog to check out more details about it. But basically, either can really help you manage null values or errors within your pipelines to make sure your business logic is safe. And thank you for